Hey guys, we're back here for another day in the arena. Currently Diamond Tier 4 and absolutely loving this Boros Humans deck. Making one minor change since the last iteration. Basically, I like everything where it's at. I shifted down from 3 Adeline down to 2, and then from 3 Thalia down to 2 to make room for 1 copy of Anim Pakal, which is kind of like another Adeline, just a little bit different in how it works. In that whenever you attack with any non-gnome creatures, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then you get that many X or 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creatures that are tapped and attacking, and that's equal. The number of gnomes you get is equal to the amount of counters that are on Anim Pakal. So, yeah, why not have 2 Adelines in play at the same time? Is kind of my thought, since we've got the mana for it. And then with Inti, I wanted to make room for this card. So this card puts counters on attacking creatures, which combos with Anim Pakal. And also is just all around incredibly powerful. I saw this when kind of the set was being spoiled and just thought this card looks ridiculous. They're also both humans, so they fit in. And yeah, so when you attack with a creature, you can discard a card and put a +1/+1 counter on the attacking creature, and then it gains trample, which white has never had. So having access to trample in a mono white deck, essentially, just feels amazing. And then you also discard, or when you discard a card, you exile the top card of your library, and you can play that until your end step. And so that's really powerful because you kind of have like card draw in a white deck also, which is, you can filter out lands that you don't need maybe, or cards that aren't useful, and play other stuff. And yeah, this card seems amazing, like totally ridiculous. And so let's make room for it. I think I wanted to be super mindful of all the role players in this deck when making these changes. I don't want to make big changes because the deck is working right now. And I want to maintain 10 1-drops. Part of the reason that you see the breakdown here is that I want 4 for mono red because mono red is a tough matchup. And then I do want to respect the Selesny Enchantments deck, which is also a tier 1 deck. So having access to 3 Hopeful Initiates, this also can help against annoying stuff like Virtue of Loyalty, Virtue of the Black Virtue, whatever, Virtue of something or other. It's the black card that has Virtue. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. The -3/-3, and then it brings back stuff from the graveyard. Other enchantments, yeah, Wedding Announcement, etc. So other role players, Thalia is super important since we don't run any spells at all to have access to shut down or delay Sunfall, etc. So hopefully 2 will be kind of enough, and then we've got Knight Errant to go find the copies if we need it. So, at any rate. And then I want to keep at least 3 Brutal Cathars because we need some way to deal with opposing threats. And again, having this toolbox with Knight Errant to go and find the Brutal Cathar, there have been games where I've needed to go and find one to deal with whatever's on the table. Yeah. And then I want to stick to about 10 3-drops. Just with a curve, we've got 21 sources. This feels like a pretty good fit. I typically want 14 or 15 2-drops, so everything sort of fits here. Knight Errant is usually a 3-drop, so I guess it could be free, so it's kind of sort of this weird category of its own. Getting into some of the matchups, so here are the stats most recently. So now currently with the deck, it is at a 66% win rate, 38 wins and 20 losses. Most of those wins being quite recent here. I think I went 14-2 and then 2-0. So it's really coming into its own. Specific matchups, mono white is looking up. We're doing fairly well against the mirror, so to speak. Mono red is, again, a tough matchup, so that's just doing all we can for life gain strategies there. Yeah, and I think Other decks here we're doing very well against Selesnya enchantments right now, 4-0. And Esper's about 50-50. Blue-white control is a little rough. And then, let's see, some of the other fun decks. We've only had, I guess, one on screen with the red-green turn 3 get there with Picnic Ruiner, etc. But that can be a tough matchup. So, all that said, let's hop into a couple games. All right, opening hand looks great. And we've got the turn 2, turn 3 plan. So, gonna go ahead and name human, get our veteran going. If this is mono blue, which it looks like, we might want to go for Thalia next turn instead if we know we can stick it. But if they don't play anything here, we'll just go for the regular plan, because they most likely have a counter. So instead, we're just going to try to go for reinforcements and a turn into Knight Errant. If they play a spell at the end of this turn, we're absolutely resolving reinforcements. I've made this mistake before about trying to get fancy and doing it at the end of their turn. If they tap out, we're playing cards. Now this is really fun because we can go for Knight Errant right here. We can reinforcements into Knight Errant. So the real question is, do we want another Knight Errant? Because if we don't care about getting Knight Errant, we could just spend actual mana and tap out for it. But getting more stuff on the field always feels good. Since we've got 6, we can try to go for the Thalia into it. And searching for 4 isn't that much worse than searching for 3. Plus we get Thalia down if that ends up working. And then if not, if they counter it, then we can just go for bashing in. So I kind of like that since Thalia is super good against this deck. Since we've got 2, we can try to stick them each turn, so to speak. So they almost certainly will counter this. Okay, the fact that they didn't kind of blows my mind, but this way we miss 3 damage if they counter it now. Okay, since they're just searching, we're just going to turn on the gas. Yeah, that's going to do it. One of the things I've been thinking about with Anim Pakal, the new sort of, or the alternate Adeline card, you know, in what situations would you rather have Adeline than that? And against mono red, I think Adeline is better, having the 4 toughness. Anim Pakal is much better, obviously, on the attack. Same with Inti over like the Thalia. Those are both going to make the mono red match a little harder, but I think they bring a lot to the table. And there are games, some games, you know, since we were running 3 copies of Adeline and Thalia where we did run into multiples, and this will lessen that a little bit. That can also be a bad thing if we like need to stop a Sunfall or something like that. So, but I'm excited to keep them in for now and just sort of try it out. I also want to be super cognizant of like what kind of dedication we have to red cards in the deck, since we only have 15 sources out of our 21 lands. But I think right now we're only running 6 cards in total that are red. Okay, hand looks great. Could be the same deck. We definitely want to slam down Thalia here, since they are most likely mono blue. We'll go for the attack first, since they have Fading Hope. We can try to sneak in the damage. Now, since no counters are possible, we can go for our Knight Errant here. So we can go Veteran, Veteran into Knight Errant. This just feels silly. And I love every moment of it. They could interrupt the chain here with Fading Hope, which I guess they did. Yeah, so that was something actually that, yeah. It was a line I had not thought of. So if we had left our mana up, they still could have done it end of turn. So we definitely want to get Thalia back down here. I think we want to go Thalia into Knight Errant, just like we were going to do last turn. Okay, definitely want Recruiter. And I guess if they tap out, we could use Brutal Cathar, but that seems a little thin. If we draw land, we can go double Coppercoat next turn for big damage. So I think we should go with these two. Okay, unfortunately they do have counters up now, so I think, yeah, did we go for the Imidane? I think we still do. We could also just go for like Adeline here and not completely push, because they're probably going to counter whatever we play. And I guess if we go Adeline, it's still like a big threat, so maybe we try that. Because we'd rather have Adeline countered than Recruiter. Okay, now we definitely don't want to risk Thalia, so we'll send everybody but Thalia here. Okay, counters are still up now because they've got double Jin, which is annoying. And we're tight on land, so I think we do walk into the counter here, just because if we can draw a land, we can go double Copper Coat. So I think we go for it. Although actually, does that even help us that much? Like that pushes these up to 2. This will be a 3. They can block fairly easily. Maybe we just go for the Copper Coat this turn and just do the setup. Yeah, I think Copper Coat here is maybe the play. Now we just offer the trade with Knight Errant if they want to make it. Yes, they definitely have access to hard counters here. So this costs them 2 mana to play because of Thalia. So I think we bait it with... Maybe we bait it with a Knight Errant? I guess we could try for Copper Coat, and then if we fail, go for Knight Errant. Because then we'll still have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the land. I kind of like that play. Okay, they did that, so now we can Knight Errant. We can attack first, I suppose. We don't want to give them full knowledge. They could Fading Hope here. I suppose they didn't. Yeah, let's Knight Errant now. They could still theoretically counter if they have a 2 mana counter. Okay, let's get Imidane's Recruiter number 2 and a adversary. I suppose we could also get a 1-drop in case we draw a land. Like, this is going to be mostly irrelevant. I think let's just do that instead. Let's go Recruitment Officer. Yeah, that's going to do it. Yeah, I haven't been this excited about a deck in a long time. Like, the blue-white Convoke deck was super fun to play, and I do love that deck. But, like, Boros is, like, it's just close to my heart. It's definitely my playstyle. Super long queues today. I think we just played this opponent. Hand looks great. Yeah. This is definitely not as good a hand against mono blue, but still keeping it. Question is, do we try to push for Adeline here or go for NT? I kind of like both, to be honest. This is more mana efficient, which is the thing. They're both pretty powerful. I don't actually know which is I think we want to resolve Adeline, obviously, but I think let's just go for mana since they're both pretty powerful. They probably have the counter, but if they've got it, they've got it. Okay, we're Fading Hope. Now I think we go for NT. We could try to do the full setup here. Yeah, I kind of like that, actually. I think we want to go in reinforcements into Knight Errant if we can resolve it. Yeah, I like that. Let's try that. Okay, we've got NT backup, so that's still okay. I think we kind of thinking about like discarding Knight Errant because we want to start going here. And I like if they just like hard cast what's his face? Haughty Gen, I want to have access to Brutal Cathar. Adeline's super good. Because I think we just like want to start attacking now. I think we discard Knight Errant here. As crazy as that sounds. Or maybe we didn't like we weren't supposed to discard anything? I don't actually know. Okay, now we just Cathar. And I guess it's just... Okay, that's going to do it. I was going to say, I wasn't sure we were going to discard again there, but... Yeah, I know. I definitely kind of like want to slow these games down a little bit, just like really analyze sort of all the decisions. For me, that's what works best. I know some people like a faster play style, but I really want to like get into it and just like see all the angles if I can. So anyways, thanks for coming along on the journey, and went 3-0 today, so happy about that. Let's look at the updated stats real quick. So yeah, 67% win rate, 41 wins, and 20 losses. We'll see you in the next one.